You know, we could all use some encouragement. And I've got some good news for you. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Mark. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to 5 Minutes with Mark. I'm glad you're here. We are in the Gospel of Mark at chapter 16, verse 1. Now when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices that they might come and anoint him. Very early in the morning, on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen. And they said among themselves, "Who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away, for it was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him as he said to you." So they went out quickly and fled from the tomb, for they trembled and were amazed. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. Let's stop right there. The Sabbath is over. As soon as the sun rises, they can go outside. They can move. As soon as the sun rises, they get up and go. Two Marys and Salome, who have bought the necessary herbs to go and anoint his body for burial. They were going to go and bury him properly. It was a rush job on Friday. Now it's Sunday morning, and they want to go take care of his body. They loved him, and they wanted to make sure that he was properly prepared for that rest. As they're walking along, they're saying, do you remember the big stone that they rolled up there? How are we going to get in? We'll figure it out when we get there, I guess. Like we all do. They just knew they needed to go. And they get there, and remember, the two Marys, they saw where Joseph of Arimathea had placed the body. They knew where they were going. They didn't go to the wrong place. That's another one of they probably just went to the wrong place and it was empty, and then they made this story up. No. These are not stupid people. These are people who are deeply invested in this whole process. They know where he's at. They go to the tomb where he was at. They're concerned about the stone because they knew the stone was there. They get there and the stone has been rolled back. And it's very large. It wasn't like you could just go, with a couple of kids, go roll it out of the way. This was a very significant thing. And they look inside. They look inside and they see a young man clothed in white sitting off to the right. And they're afraid. That is not what they were expecting to see. What they were expecting to see was a dead body, a corpse. That's what they were expecting to see. They were expecting to get there and have to find some Roman soldiers or somebody to coerce them and beg them to open up so they could go and take Jesus's body and smear it in all the oils and the herbs and stuff, and then wrap him properly and have him buried properly. They weren't expecting to see a young man clothed in white who's sitting there completely unworried, unconcerned, happy as can be. I know what you're doing. You're looking for Jesus of Nazareth, the one who was crucified. He's risen. He's not here. See the place where they laid him. Their eyes had to be huge. These three women are standing there in the tomb. It's empty. There's no body there. There's still blood smeared on the base. There's no way to get rid of that, but Jesus is nowhere to be seen. Instead, there's this being, this person who's sitting there going, yeah, he rose. He's risen. He's risen. See, look, he's not here. He's not here. And then he says, go tell his disciples and Peter. I always found that to be really interesting. Again, the Gospel of Mark is Peter's voice. Mark is writing what Peter is talking about. And at this point, Peter no longer counts himself among the disciples of Jesus because he betrayed him and denied him 3 times. Because he failed to die with him. He failed to stick with him because he was human and he just failed. He doesn't even consider himself a disciple anymore. I didn't earn that. And the angel, it's an angel in the tomb, says, go tell the disciples, and Peter, make sure you tell Peter that he's going into Galilee. Remember he said, I'll go before you into Galilee. There you'll see him. And the ladies got up and they rushed back to where the disciples were. They quickly fled from the tomb, trembling and amazed, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. Along the way, they got a message to deliver, but along the way, no, nobody's going to believe this anyway. What just happened? Fascinating thing is that in many of the earliest copies of the Gospel of Mark ends right there. The rest of it, from verse 9 on, chapter 16, which is the end of the book, it's in many, many manuscripts, but it's not in the earliest ones. This was the end of the story. These ladies get the message. Remember I told you Jesus valued the women? Look at this. Who gets the news? It's the women. The women get the news. Why? Because they came to minister to him. Because they were there to care for him, even in his death. And they're the first ones to hear the good news. He's not here. Why do you seek the living among the dead? He's risen, as he said. And he's gone before you. He's gone to Galilee. You should go there. You'll see him. We're not going to end there. It's kind of an interesting spot to end. It's really almost a cliffhanger. And again, most of the manuscripts continue and kind of tie everything up a little bit. But the punchline to the whole story is this. The tomb is empty. He's not there. The women are amazed. And they don't know what to say. They don't say anything. They have to work this out. And I think that's the question that hangs for every person who hears the story. The tomb is empty. The tomb is empty. What do we make of that? And what we decide to do with that, my friends, is what makes all the difference, not only in this life, but for the eternal life that our spirits are going to have, one way or the other, either in the light or in the darkness. What do we do with this empty tomb? See you next time. Hey friends, I'm so glad that you are enjoying this Bible study, and I hope that you'll like it and that you'll share it with others, either by word of mouth or forward the link that's here. Make sure we get the good news of Jesus out to as many people as we can, and hopefully this is a way that's engaging, entertaining, and encouraging along the way. It really is good news. And if you want to know more about me, check out my website, theeclecticmonk.com. See you soon.